mental pressure that these kids have, I cannot even fathom what it can be. Because when you graduate from your college, having paid a hefty fees, and you do not secure a job, you are like a criminal in front of your parents. Social media, there are no failures. In social
Hmm.
media, you will find only successful people who
Yes.
are going out in foreign trips, people going out in restaurants, people going to the gym. Why would you film yourself in a gym? You have gone there to work out, right? But there is this thing of flaunting something.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you have to have something in your life to flaunt about. When an electricity reaches a village now, it empowers everyone. Especially it empowers the women. The women are empowered. How? Because they do not have to travel kilometers and miles to fetch water. They have now electrical water pumps. They do not have to wash clothes all day, because they can get a washing machine, a cheap washing machine they can get. They do not have to sacrifice their health, because they can afford an electrical stove. The men, they do not have to toil so hard in the agricultural fields, because they can use the groundwater. I know that the word like liberal is like very slandered nowadays. That this liver undo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what does liberalism actually mean? It means that I have an opinion and you have an opinion. Your opinion may be different than me, but I will I will die so that you can express your opinion.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Geeky Pod with Manas. Podcast, when we say, is a medium where two or more persons do some conversation. And it will not be like any other interview, it will be a conversation. And based out of that conversation, the byproduct will come out as some information, some new things, some new topics, and some unexplored domains. So, this is what exactly this episode is all about. Today, we have a guest who is working in a PSU, and he has a vast knowledge about many things. He is a avid reader, he has read a lot of books, he has keen interest on latest technology, he has keen interest on trending topics as well as current affairs. He was the one who scored a All India rank of 55 in GATE 2015. So today in this episode we have explored about his knowledge. We have tried to pick his brain about various topics ranging from how he scored rank 55 in All India level in 2015 GATE examination. We have got to know about how electricity can help in uplifting one's career, one's entire lifestyle. We have also learned about what are the different ways to stay digital minimal in one's life and many other things. This is going to be an informative podcast. This is going to be a podcast where two people communicate, not interview each other. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Rajarshi Bhattacharya, an engineer by profession, in this podcast. In this podcast, we have talked about various books. Please let me know in the comment section how many books you could spot in this entire conversation and how many of those you have read. Thank you. Enjoy the podcast. First of all, without giving a proper interview like introduction, tell me about yourself. Like, what are you up to, and what you have been doing so far, and so on after college life, and so on.
So I am Rajarshi Bhattacharya. I am employed in a Maharatna PSU, which is under the Ministry of Power. Presently, I am in the state of Silchar, and um, that's my job. And apart from that, I am like an avid reader. I like to travel. I like to write sometimes, and I like to meet up new people and have conversations with them, interesting conversations, and just experience life in a wholly new different way, whichever way I can every time. So and also I would like to convey my thanks to Manas. He asked me to join his podcast. I have listened to all his podcasts, and mostly all the episodes I feel. And I think like everyone else, I also feel like कि हाँ यार, इसमें अगर मुझे पूछता तो यार मैं तो इससे बेटर जवाब तो मैं आंसर दे ही देता. So now I've got the chance. Let's see whether I can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So after college, all of us went to a different domain. Some like me, some of us went to IT, some went to PSUs, and some went to higher studies. So I remember that you applied for GATE and you secured a very good rank. So tell us about that, and like what was your experience and how you did all that uh, during 4 years of graduation and so on.
Okay, I'll tell the result first because it's always more impressive. The
Yeah.
result is in 2015, in the year of 2015, I appeared for GATE while I was in my final year. So I prepared along with my college classes. I secured a rank of 55, All India rank, and that's how I was placed in my job. So now to the process. It all began like very stupidly. It was not because like I had to prepare for GATE or I wanted to prepare for GATE. It just began as a stupid bet. Like I remember after our first sem, I had secured a decent amount of marks. I had like 8 point. I was 8 pointer. So over the time, I was that only. I was like a student who achieved like 80 to 80%, 80 to 85% of marks every time in school, and I was happy with it. So as usual, I was like going on. Okay, it's fine. I've got a good result. ऐसे में मेरा एक दोस्त वो आता है and he's like अरे यार उसने तो 9 पॉइंटर मार दिया. So I was like अरे ये तो एक्सपेरिमेंट में या फिर वो
Normal.
ग्राफिक्स एग्जाम में स्टफ में वो रट्टा मार के गए हैं या फिर कुछ होके वो कर लिया. Then he's like no, you can never get as many marks as her, as many marks as that person. So I was like अरे यार ये तो चैलेंज हो गया. So I we placed a bet on this. So it all began from that bet.
Uh-huh.
In third sem, I started to like take my studies seriously. Only the college semester part, and I managed to I managed to top my department. I was not the first. I was placed second. So that portion of my challenge was over. So now I wanted to go for a bigger challenge or wanted to look for the next challenge. And by the time I had learned to focus on the process of learning engineering. Like I'm sure you will also acknowledge that most of the people have come to the field of engineering not because they like it, but because they have been pushed into it, right?
Yes,
And
exactly.
they start seeing it. Yeah, they start seeing it as like a burden or like हाँ यार पहले तो इंजीनियरिंग कर लेते हैं उसके बाद एक्चुअली जो करेंगे वो करना है, एमबीए हो कुछ भी हो. So, but while I was preparing for this third sem, I found that no, this can also be enjoyable. Learning the things that are in my syllabus, and more importantly, the things which are beyond my syllabus. Like
Hmm.
in college, that is the phrase, right? कि यार college में कौन पढ़ाई करता है? It's just what our passion and culture has been. कि just take somebody studious, that person's notes and prepare on the day before exam, and you will just comfortably pass it. There's no like two ways about it. ऐसे ही सब लोग पढ़ते हैं, and after some time college का पढ़ाई मैंने ऐसे ही किया था. But when I focused on learning beyond the whatever they taught us in the class, so I found that there are these strange associations, there are these strange ways in which the subjects are interconnected with each other. You cannot learn control system without analog electronics, you cannot learn
Mhm.
analog without digital. So it's not like they are independent entities, it's a massive huge network kind of thing, which is a pun on the fact that we also had a topic called networks. So as, when I started to discover this process, I wanted to do more. So frankly, I was just having fun doing all of it. But as and when I was getting more serious for GATE, and when I felt like कि हाँ अभी मेरा कुछ chance बन रहा है, that did not come till sixth sem. I'll be honest here कि I started preparations fairly early. I was preparing since my fourth sem. Nobody prepares from that early. But like I was doing it because I was happy doing it. I was happy to learn the things, and there's this incremental progress that anyone who is appearing for a competitive exam will tell you कि it's never the fact that you get to it in a constant sort of forward slope. There are lots of breaks, there are lots of disappointments and demotivations and interruptions. College becomes an interruption. I'll be fair with you. The college becomes an interruption after a while. It's like अरे यार अभी मेरे को पढ़ना है but I have to attend this class because the 75% attendance percentage will not be fulfilled
Hmm. Exactly.
otherwise. So I started to prepare, and I started to strategize. I started to make plans. So, like as a suggestion, I would say that the starting point is just make a plan on whatever days are remaining for your exam. If you are preparing 1 year earlier or 2 year earlier, then frame the plans accordingly, sort the subjects accordingly according to their importances. Know your syllabus. Knowing your syllabus is so important, because you need to memorize your syllabus, because nothing apart from the syllabus ever comes in gate. It's not true for Indian engineering services, but for gate it's true that whatever is in syllabus, that much thing will only come. So you start gathering resources, you start gathering books. I always prefer to read textbooks more than the guidebooks or the coaching materials. Then I feel like whatever college you are in, even be it a private college or a government college anywhere in India, you will find that BL Thereja set of books in your library. So they are ever present and nobody reads them. They are like उसमें धूल पड़ा हुआ है and they look like ancient relics. They're like they are from the Nalanda University. But it's like they are such treasure trove of resources, and I never had to actually buy any of these expensive courses. 8,000, 10,000 rupees, I could not afford it. Also, I did not asking for money from my dad, because I was in college and it felt like bad. So that was how I started to prepare. And then there came the test series, the previous year question papers. And I will mention this, that there was one of my friends, and he also secured a All India Gate rank of 237, I guess, and he is also in a PSU right now. Since we prepared together, there was so much burden that I could offload just to him. It was like there is someone who can understand the process I'm going through. Because over the years, I should be honest, because it was in 2015, so it has been 8 years. So the pattern and all may have changed. I do not keep in touch that much. But I so many students have over the years, they have contacted me, called me, texted me, saying that I just don't. I feel like I'm so isolated, because there are familial expectations. I was very lucky in this respect ki my family did not put any pressure on me, and
Mm-hmm.
I did not put any pressure on myself. I never thought कि अच्छा पढ़ेंगे गेट मिलेगा ऑल इंडिया रैंक कुछ मिलेगा. I was just like I was happy with I got an Infosys job, that 3.3 LPA job, and I was perfectly happy going and doing that. I was just like that. Okay, I did not have very high ambitions कि हाँ मेरे को बहुत बड़ा आदमी बनना है या फिर बहुत सारे पैसे कमाने हैं सरकारी नौकरी मिले. No, it was just like I did not even research many companies, which is actually not recommended. You should always do some research about
Yeah.
the companies you are sitting during campus placements on, because later it turns out that the companies are not as good as they seem. But yeah, that was the journey. It was later it became tough. And like at that time there was no like Geo and no free internet. I remember it was
Yes.
like 100 rupees for 300 MB. So I
Yes.
had to go outside for giving, and the internet network connection was also very bad in our Aryabhatta hostel. So I had to go out on balconies on like chilly nights to give my gate forum exams, full length exams, which were like 3 hours long. And if it gets interrupted, then they consider that your test is over. So, and I had to pay money to buy those. So that's why those days I now remember fondly. But at that time it was kind of hard. I won't say that the preparation is always easy, but it's always better if you have like this kind of thing. If you are having fun in the process rather than focusing on the results. So that's what
Okay.
I'll say regarding
Yeah.
the
So
preparation.
I honestly saying, when we got to know that, we were surprised, rather than we were happy, like some one of us is getting in all in rank 50. Right. So now,
Yeah, it's true, because
yeah.
I'll tell this. It was so hard to prepare and like make my parents and even the professors did not believe that I'm preparing for because, like nobody else had gotten it. So one teacher actually, one professor stood me up in the class, and he asked me, maybe I was 1 or 2 days short than that 75%
Uh,
thing. Then he asked me, what were you doing? So I honestly told him I'm preparing for this gate exam. He in return he told me that you can tell me that you are going for a movie, you can tell me you are going out with your girlfriend, you are with your friends, but don't tell me you are preparing for gate, because that is like the most unbelievable thing that you can do. So from there to have gotten the rank, it was, I was also pleasantly surprised very much. But yeah, that was like one of the happiest
right.
moments of my life.
Yes. Yes. Now, coming to this part only, in general, if you see nowadays, we are listening in news over media also. People go to quota for various educational courses. right? And in last 1 month or last 1 year, there are 22 plus suicides which has happened. And people go to Kota not only for entrance into IIT and others, for GATE and higher education also people go to Delhi, Hyderabad and other locations also for coaching. There also similar cases happens. Maybe not that frequent, but it happens. So why do you think this is happening, and what could have been done better in terms of government side, in terms of coaching center wise, family support and anything? So what is your view on that regard?
Uh, I'll say this first thing. There's a disclaimer that I want to make, that just because I got a rank does not mean that I think that I'm better than all those people who are preparing. There can be n number of reasons. Even during my preparation, I came across people who were so much more prepared, so much more brilliant than me. But for some reason, it's about the 3 hours now. It's like very unlikely that you will perform to your potential in those three
Hmm.
hours.
Okay.
Like for some stupid reason, maybe the mouse won't work, maybe the chair is not good. So because it happens in government colleges and universities, so most more often than not the setup etc is not up to the mark. I'll say this, and because most of these exams are online, as regards to the mental pressure that these kids have, it's like I cannot even fathom what it can be. Because when you graduate from your college, having paid a hefty fees if you are in a private college, and you do not secure a job, right? You are like are like a culprit, you are like a criminal in front of your parents. And I'm saying
Hmm.
this with full stress, that there are majority of parents who will make you feel like it. They will be like,
Hmm.
it's your fault, we trusted you and you betrayed our trust, and it's totally up to you, it's totally
Hmm.
your liability. So at the age of like 18 and 19, when you are not even out of your teenage years, and the whole they ask you to sort your whole future in front of you in this 1 year, and then you have to ask them ki, on top of all this, you finance me for 1 more year so that I'll go stay at a different city, which will require that I will have to arrange for my accommodation and food, and of course pay for the coaching. So then you make the parents agree to do that, and then there is so much of pressure from the peers, from your parents, from your family, from everywhere it's just that 3 days thing, it's like a pressure
Hmm.
cooker.
Hmm.
So, and I have seen those kind of those students who even you have might have seen that I saw this photo in Patna railway station. There is like
Hmm.
a sea of students who are going
Yes.
for some exam, for like clerical exam, in which there are like 50 seats, but lakhs of crores of people appear for it. PhDs are involved in there. So that kind of a situation in which it is mathematically improbable for everyone to succeed, it is mathematically improbable for most people to succeed. Of course you will not succeed, because that is what is mathematically coming out. Because you are like probability, if you go by probability, there is more probability of you failing than you succeeding, right?
Right.
So the
Right.
success at in those times mostly a fluke, I'll say also this key. If you sit the top 100 people, whoever got the top 100 marks, to give the exam again, okay, due to some glitch or other, it will not be the same 100 people who are getting the rank one more time,
Hmm.
right? So it is a matter of luck, it is a matter of chance. However, in order to be qualified to be that lucky, you have to take your preparation to that level. So coming to those students, social media also plays such a tremendous role. Because in social media there are no failures. In social
Hmm.
media you will find only successful people, people who
Yes.
are going out in foreign trips, people going out in restaurants, people going to the gym. Why would you film yourself in a gym? You have gone there to work out, right? But there is this thing of flaunting something.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you have to have something in your life to flaunt about. And when you are a student now, when you don't earn, but you are like in your 20s, you have been preparing for 3 years, 4 years, you have been preparing for UPSC. I also given UPSC, I failed. So but I know the amount of syllabus. There's no syllabus, it's like simply an ocean. There is no like uh, unlike gate, there is nothing that you can say that this will come from this portion. You have to read newspapers, you have to read current affairs, apps, you have to have like every sort of knowledge, from environment to history to international affairs to economics to like geography. Like you have to be master of all trades, and
Yes.
also jack of all trades and master of all trades, everything. So social media harms you, because even after you have got a job in your daily life, social media like shows you, it points out a finger, it points out to the fact that you are not doing well in your life. There are people who are doing better than you, and you try to do something about it. You also go out, you take the photo of the food that you are eating. I also do it. It's not like I am totally above everything. So but somehow you're trying to validate yourself. But when you are a student, you have no money, you have no, the main thing, you have no self-worth. You do not
Hmm.
know what you are worth, and you mistake that to thinking that you are worth nothing. So I really feel for those people who are traveling like all over India to different seats to with their admit cards, and their parents are constantly disappointed in them. They have this enormous pressure to pay off education loans, and get married also, because there are some states in which people marry early,
Hmm.
so they marry before they are settled. So it's like, it's really sad, but I will never blame those students. I won't say that they are doing anything wrong, apart from the fact that maybe they get indulged in some nasha kind of things. I
Hmm.
won't
Hmm.
recommend that, but that also happens. Like somebody comes and they will tell you, कि, "अरे यार तेरे तो दिमाग में इतना pressure है, you just take this joint and you will be fine." So the first time you fall for it is the beginning of your like downfall. So I feel like what the teachers, professors, etc. can do is does not matter here, because the faculties in quota, they are not teachers, they are just businessmen. They help those who are better students. They are not there to help the weak. You will never find in a newspaper that out of 10,000 students in my coaching school, 100 people have qualified. There is no total number of students. The total number of students is always empty, because they do not
Hmm.
want to show the success criteria, because they are just the enablers. The students who got into IITs and NITs, they were good enough. They just showed a
Hmm.
path. I'm not saying that it's totally unnecessary. They show a path, but in order to follow that path, you have to be a certain amount of good. They cannot induce that goodness in you.
Right.
So that's the thing. It's sad, but once you toil and you get something, that is where you build what you are worth. That I feel.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now coming to your work domain. So you're in a field where you're dealing with electricity, right? So now electricity as a sector, when we see, so we have the currently we are talking and we are recording this podcast. This is also because of electricity only. So similarly, entirely everything, if you see nowadays, is based off electricity in one way or the other. So where do you think this sector is going to be when it comes to renewable energy or solar energy or wind energy, and how big this sector can be as a career for any individual who is just passing out from college or doing their masters or graduation?
Uh, well, I would like to start with that scene from Swades, that Bijli scene. That there is one Budi Amma. She has not had a bulb for her whole life.
I'll plug that
I'm sure
video
that
here.
this is, yeah,
I'll
yeah,
plug
please.
that.
That Bijli in her life, that means everything to her. That is the there is this slogan, na, roti kapda makan, and we
Right.
have to add Bijli nowadays. We can add internet also, of course. Internet is also very important, but the electricity is such a necessity nowadays. Why? Because it covers all the spectrum of the society. I'll start from the very poor. There are villages. There are around 2.5 billion people in the world, mostly in Africa, who are still without electricity, and
Hmm.
another 1 billion people who get electricity only sporadically, only for a few hours in their life. How is electricity important? What do we even do with electricity? Like city people may ask. Just imagine this: when an electricity reaches a village now, it empowers everyone, especially it empowers the women. The women are empowered. How? Because they do not have to travel kilometers and miles to fetch water. They have now electrical water pumps. They do not have to wash clothes all day, because they can get a washing machine, a cheap washing machine they can get. They do not have to sacrifice their health with that gas stove, because they can afford an electrical stove. The men, they do not have to toil so hard in the agricultural fields, because they can use the groundwater. So, in every person's life, even a small child, imagine a small girl child who is in her school, she is very interested in her studies, but she cannot study at night because there is no light. She can study only with the candlelight, and this is like this reality. Even in today's times, it happens. So, since I'm in Northeast, I have like been to places which are like there are massive load sheddings over those places. in time. So when that girl child receives electricity, she gets an electric bulb. That one electric bulb can change her entire future, because it frees up so much of time. It reduces manual labor, and it enables you to like pursue something better, pursue something that needs more skills. Maybe a woman who has been freed from her like daily chores, she can do some amount of stitching, she can do some amount of boutique or something, and she will contribute to the income of the household. In every country, in every society, every place, wherever electricity goes, the economy increases.
Mm-hmm.
There's this study, I think people may have heard of it. They took a photo of the world at like one portion of the world which was at night, and they assessed that the places which were more economically doing well, these places were more brighter, implying that they had more light. Just this simple thing, you do not have to do any simple mathematical calculations. Just take a photo of the world at night. The places that are shining brighter are also economically more prosperous. I'll give the example of South Korea and North Korea. Like South Korea was burning bright in that photo,
Mm.
you guys can go and check in the internet, and North Korea was totally dark. So that shows the absolute contrast that is there. Coming from that spectrum to the guys who are like behind you, let's go with Elon Musk. So Elon Musk has started this electricity revolution with Tesla. He builds his own batteries, lithium-ion batteries for the Tesla cars. So he wants to take this world a step towards electric, which is absolutely essential nowadays because of the climate change and stuff. I'm very much interested in climate change also. I believe it, and I believe that India is being a forefront player into it. Okay, I'll come to it later. Then there is Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is running Amazon. Did you know Amazon has its own electrical generators that are worth like 17,000 megawatts? For a context, 17,000 megawatts is how much electricity is required for a small country. Amazon
Okay.
owns these
Oh.
electricity fields. Why? Because they own data centers.
Hmm.
Every picture that you post and every text that you write is stored in a data center. I don't know whether most people know it. These data centers are not in India. They are placed somewhere in the US, in the colder places, because they need a lot of cooling. Because there are always they get very hot, so there are always fans and apparatus that are running to make them cold. So in order to, and this has to happen uninterrupted, because you can never risk the thing that for some even 1 minute your data center cannot go offline. It has to be online 24/7 every time of the day. So in order to ensure that, they have their own electrical grids, because they cannot depend upon the actual electrical government grid. So they have their own electrical grids, and that is how, for cryptocurrency, for mining bitcoins, you need massive amount of electricity. In fact, in the places where bitcoin mining is considered illegal, the police actually catch the people who are mining by this thing, that where the
Hmm.
electricity is being used the most, they will trace it using that. So then I think there's the founder of Alibaba in China also. China is the most biggest, largest grid in the world. China, the State Grid Corporation of China. So as you will see that even in the modern developments, in order to preserve data, in order to transport it, in order to, from charging a simple phone to running a hospital for saving lives, you need electricity. And it's like nobody even questions it, because everyone knows it. But how
Hmm.
do we provide it? How do we, as a country that is that has just come out of the throes of socialism since 1991, it's been it's just been 30 years around, how do we make sure that we reach every household and we give uninterrupted 24/7 electricity? Because
Hmm.
without electricity you cannot use internet, right? So, and without internet you are not connected to the world, you are sort of to say off the grid. So how do you bring people into the grid? That is the quest in which our country is going through. We are one of the few countries who have been implementing their COPs targets fruitfully. What is COPs? COPs is Conference of Parties. It's the largest climate meeting that is held by the United Nations, and I think 198 countries, all of them go there, and they, most of them talk about doing something about the climate change, and most of it is about rerouting the conventional source of energy like coal and petrol to to the from non-renewable to the renewable, to say solar or wind or geothermal, and most importantly nuclear.
Hmm.
Nuclear energy is it's not renewable, but it has the largest energy density. Like from a thermal power plant will cover like acres and acres of fields and produce only a few megawatts, only a few hundreds of megawatts. But the same amount of energy can be produced by a nuclear energy plant, which is the size of your home. But nuclear energy has got this taboo because of course, what happened after World War II, because of the nuclear warheads, nuclear, like India is also nuclear power, but we chose to use it as a weapon rather than use it extensively. We do use it, we have nuclear power plants, but we do not use it extensively as a source of power yet. So the main source of power is still coal, and the main source of fuel is still petrol and diesel, which is leading to so much of climate change. Just before starting the interview, we were talking about how hot it is. It's insanely hot. Like when we grew up in Agartala, we could not even imagine कि even during
Hmm.
puja, like even during Durga Puja, इतनी गर्मी हो रही है, बारिश हो रही है, like क्या हो रहा है? There is
Hmm.
no like autumn. Sharatkal has disappeared. There's just
Hmm.
summer, a lot of summer and a few days of winter, and endless rainfall. And people say snow caps are melting and stuff. And there's this very good book. It's called The Uninhabitable Earth. It says like in the worst case scenario what can happen, because since the ice caps are melting and the glaciers are melting, the sea level will rise, and that means that any coastal area at any continent, including Asia and India, the main cities of India are port cities. Chennai, Mumbai, Kolkata, everything, West Bengal, every city has a port. So when this coastal flooding will start, now there will be severe. There's so many billions of people who will be affected.
Hmm.
Their houses will be taken away. Even today in floods, so many houses are taken. There will be droughts. There will be wildfires. I don't know if you have seen in California and recently in Hawaii,
Yes.
in
Yeah.
of America. There's like, you will not believe the scenes. You will not say, you can't say that this is the world that we live in. We have not seen anything like this. There's full of it's full of smoke. Everything is red. Everything is burning. There's no road. The trees everywhere is dry. It's simply dry. Why is the why is the fire spreading? Because there's no moisture left in the trees. They are
Hmm.
like they are soaked dry by the sunlight. It's so hot. So on one hand you have floods, and one hand you have droughts, and there will be more earthquakes and stuff. It's very difficult for the mainly the poor people to survive. So, taking into this fact, what India is doing is we have given a commitment. By 2030, we will have 500 gigawatt of renewable energy, which is like the
Hmm.
50% of India's power. India is one of the like biggest power
Oh, consumer.
emitters, yeah, consumers and also emitters of harmful
Okay.
gases. So
Okay.
because we have the most number of people now, congratulations India. So we the per capita consumption of power is still very low. It's still lower than many developed countries, but we are fulfilling our commitments that we have given, which I am sad to say most like America itself is not doing. Many European nations are doing, but they have so little population. It's very easy for them to transition. But as a developing nation, India cannot just afford to close all their coal
Hmm.
power plants, and they cannot just be like, no, you cannot use the conventional source of electricity, because we as citizens do not select कि, yeah, the light that is glowing, you cannot know whether this is coming for a conventional or a renewable source of energy. So the transition has to be gradual, but it's also true that climate change is an impending force of disaster that many of us are ignoring, maybe because of impending more emergency purposes, and because where the world stands now. I'll say this, the conference of parties that I mentioned, America actually sponsors the poor countries in Africa to do this transition, because Africa cannot do it. I'll tell you this, most villages in Africa are not connected to the grid. There is actually a generator mafia in
Hmm.
Africa, to which the people have to pay, so that the person who owns a diesel generator, he will switch on this diesel generator for some time, and they will get power for 1 or 2 hours.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is, even those people own a TV and they know Shah Rukh Khan and they watch movies. This is
Yes.
very interesting. Why I say this? Because there is a book called Poor Economics by Abhijit Banerjee, the Nobel laureate.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did this experiment, called the economics of the poor. It's like we as like middle class people, we think that तुम एक गरीब आदमी को 100 रुपए दे दो, तो he will eat a nutritious food. He will have fruits and he will eat cashews, and he will have healthy drinks, and he will look to be healthy, but he's also a normal person like you and me. So he will of course go for the entertainment. He will eat something cheap. He will eat 20 rupees ka Maggie and then watch cinema with the rest of the 80 rupees. So we cannot assess what a poor person wants. I'll say this, like in India is one of the biggest countries that does free vaccinations, right? And India was also the country, like the only country I think which vaccinated all of its citizens against Corona the fastest. That is one remarkable achievement that like anybody should be proud of. So if you offer something to a poor person for free now, they will not take it. They will feel like कि हाँ इसमें तो कुछ झोल है. Like the children, the polio dose. So there was this program where one person, because we have 2 or 3 doses of polio, like you have to come back after 1 week or
Hmm.
something. So when they were giving it out for free, nobody came back. But when they did it kind of like कि, okay, you will get a reward, maybe you will get a like steel ka bartan if you come back. So 80% of people return. So when you give something out for free, they will like they also have a thinking brain now. It's not like they're just puppet. They're not being able to come out of the poverty trap. That does not mean that they cannot make decisions. And there's also this fact that, say you and I, we have PF, right? We
Hmm.
have FDs and we have SIPs, which we, like the money that comes to our salary account, the money gets automatically deducted.
Right.
So we do not have to work upon it. Imagine if you had to by yourself like deduct this money and donate deposit this money by yourself every month. There comes the thing of willpower. Will you have the will to do it, or will you think यार इस बार मैं खर्च कर लेता हूँ, इस बार I will buy this iPhone? What is this craze about iPhone? Like it costs more than 1 lakh rupees. Oh my god.
No,
So
this is the same
इस
thing you
बार मैं,
mentioned. No, it's for flaunting. iPhone is for
yeah,
flaunting. Yeah.
yes, that's so true. That is why those mirror selfies. Yeah, I have
Yes.
this half-eaten apple in my hand. Like, please, society accept me. Anyways, so a poor person, he also falls into this, na? And because he is poor, he will prefer maybe a bottle of alcohol. He will not see the advantage of हाँ यार तेरे returns तो compound हो जाएंगे अगर तू 20 साल में उसको रखेगा तो, and you will have to, you can fund your child's education. छोड़ो यार 20 साल में क्या होगा, जिंदगी आज की है. He will say this and he will spend the money. So the poor people do not have this social security net. We the water that we get, you know, that it's already chlorinated and treated a little bit
Hmm.
in our bath.
Hmm.
But a poor person, he will get a water that is polluted.
Wait. I have a complaint to make. It's been observed that 93% of you, yes, 93% of, yes, you, I'm pointing to you. You are watching my episodes, you are watching all the podcasts, but not subscribing to it, neither hitting a like button. Please hit the like button. How much time does it take? Please hit the like button. Okay, go and hit the like button. I'm waiting. Okay, done. See, hitting the like button helps me reach more and more people. If you really think that this podcast is of little value or it has a little importance, please hit the like button, share with your friends, family, or juniors, whoever you think that may get benefited from this entire podcast, and hit the subscribe button so that we can get more courage and confidence to create more and more such episode, and we'll be able to invite more prominent guests based on the subscriber base. Thank you for understanding. Enjoy the podcast. Okay, so now that you are also you are working in one of the Navaratnas, and I'm working in a corporate setup. So ideally, both of our organizations are in a corporate setup. So corporate setup prepares you differently. Like you become more gentle, you become more formal in a way of presenting yourself. So what do you think about this corporate culture and the effect or impact that it has on one's career and their behavioral changes? And should it be inculcated from the school days itself, or is there a merit or demerit to this culture?
Uh, the corporate culture that we follow in India, I feel like it's still lagging behind that of say US or Europe in some ways. Like there is still some hierarchy, if not like in our government organization or PSUs, there it's a bit more. and maybe a bit less, but still there is some hierarchy in the mindset of the people. Like if there's a boss and there's a boss's boss, you cannot go to the boss's boss directly, you have to go through your boss. So sometimes it like hampers the work process, although we are trying to come out of it. The biggest thing that I do not like about corporate culture is the undue stress that we are in all the time, especially for India, because like say Infosys as a company, it has lakhs of people, right? So how do you stand out? How do you make your mark? How do you become that? How do you get that X factor in you? So that many people cannot find out, and I have many friends, although I have not experienced it personally, but apparently there are many projects that people work on, and when you are not a part of project, you are part of the bench. You have been benched. It said you have been benched. So in order to go ahead, it feels like that you have to overcome, and you have to keep a lot of people behind. You have to struggle and go forward. It's not like you have a clear path in front of you. And also the office culture. Now I have read this book, it's called Rework. It's I forgot the author's name. It's called Rework. So in the book begins with the line that we do the least amount of work in an office environment. And when I first read it, I was like, okay, what is this claim? But then it went on to show that how in an office we are constantly, firstly, interrupted by people, secondly, interrupted by our emails, thirdly, the interruptions that we put onto ourselves, say by phones or by going for chai breaks, or because like we cannot concentrate on one thing, so we end up taking too many breaks, right? So what is the alternative? For example, he said when you are in a flight, when you are in a plane, or when you are journeying somewhere, when you are, or mostly when you are outside of office hours in the office, like say after 6 p.m., you get the most work done. Or if you come before everyone, you get the most work done. You get the it's like so ironic, because big companies, they hire big buildings, they buy chairs and tables and computers, and they have to pay for it, and they have to like make this setup. But that is the place where productivity is the least, because you know why? Because we do not have an uninterrupted space of attention there. So that leads to so much of our like buildup of tension and stress. And what I feel like, say like what kind of work do you do? Just for an example, tell me, what kind of work do you
Yeah,
do?
so it's a desk job. I go to office, I work with my laptop and continuously meeting with
Yeah,
my
but
teammates and all. That's it.
yeah, the kind of work will involve like creating something, making something, right? Creating something out of nothing. It can be a program, it can be a code, it
Yes.
can be debugging a code. It has to be something that involves your mind, because in IT you are working with your brain. Say
Correct.
a manual level, he's working with his body, right? So but you cannot work with your brain unless and until you are in the zone, right? So there's this book called Deep Work. You cannot do deep work. It's by I forgot the name of author of this also. So in the book Deep Work, the author says that when you are constantly bombarded by these kinds of disturbances, what happens is you cannot do creative work. Sure, you can send like 10 emails and 15 emails, and you can respond to 5 emails, and you can look up the work that your junior is doing, but you are not actually doing productive work, because that the work that you are doing is not amounting to anything. It's not creating something. So what he suggests is whenever you want to do work in our corporate culture, you should make it clear to your boss and to anybody that contacts you that you are not available all the time. You should not be available all the time. You should not answer your phone on the first ring. No, you should make it clear that I have some work, I have, my time is important, and you have to take out my time beforehand. You have to, maybe even if it's not an appointment, you just should have the courtesy of like shooting me a text and waiting for 5 minutes before calling me up. Nowadays, it's like somebody sends an email. This happens in our country like the most. After sending an email, the person will actually call me to tell me that he has sent me an email. So, bro, that is the communication is through email. Why are you asking me?
Yeah.
Because everybody is used to like ETD. End of the day, yeah, I need everything done. So if I do everything by the end of the day, what will I do tomorrow? So it's
Uh,
like because communication is such a vital part of everyone's job nowadays. It should not be, but it is, because that is the easiest thing to do. You need to don't need to apply your brain to write 2 lines of email, because mostly it's about a small progress in your work, a limited progress. Maybe it's about a document that other person has created that you want. So it's more about CCing people. It's like बाद में मेरे को problem ना हो जाए, मैं इसको भी CC दे देता हूँ, मैं उसको भी CC दे देता हूँ. So like there is a little bit of insecurity also, because there has been so much massive job cuts after the like
Pandemic
COVID wave
started.
has recessed. So there's a lot of insecurity even among the like MAGA people, like the 5 biggest manga, it's called, I think, right?
Yeah.
Man companies. So that is where the amount of like even a little bit of fear is harmful for your work, because it does not let you work with a full brain, because you cannot work with anxiety, right? So like I also think that you will agree to these points. When you are working in an office, and so much of your company's view is actually based on what kind of boss you have. Your boss is just one person. He is not the whole company. If your boss is good, you will feel like you are working in heaven. I have been under good bosses, I have been under not so good bosses, but I have seen that the difference is very, very prominent. And like over the years, I have taught myself some tips and tricks and ways in which to manage the work, so that I keep my work in office still office. I do not take it home. In home, I have a separate identity. I have a separate thought process, a separate like stuff to do. My work should not impact my after office hours, because after office they're not paying me to do it. Firstly, and secondly, like if I like attach all of my identity to my work, then the day I am like laid off, or the day I am retired, who am I then? So I should
Right.
have an identity apart from work in any job. So
Okay.
yeah, I feel that
No,
very
just
strong.
I'm able to relate to that point. Why I'm saying is because this podcasting that I'm doing, right? This you can
Yeah.
consider my alter ego. In office
Ah,
time, I'm not this like
yes.
speaking with people.
Very good.
So this is I
Yeah.
do as part of my personal skill set or whatever choice that I want to make. But in corporate
Yeah.
setup, I don't have that. It's
Yes.
what task
That's
is given to me based on that.
yeah. And I'm so happy to see someone from my batch, like no less my state, because I listen to a lot of podcasts. Since ISRO has recently launched Chandrayaan, I will suggest
Hmm.
one podcast. It's called Mission ISRO, Mission ISRO. It's
Hmm.
narrated by none other than Harsha Bhogle, and it's in
Hmm.
Spotify. If you
Right.
get
I've
Spotify
heard it.
Premium,
Yes.
yeah, you have heard it, right? Like it's spectacular. And there are several other podcasts. There's the podcast by The Economist. So it's great. Then, of course, there is your podcast. I feel like you invite people like who are mostly from our college, right? Is that the like base criteria
No,
that they
that's
should?
no. There is no base criteria. It's like the network that I am aware of. I have to go
Ah,
beyond
okay,
that
okay.
network. Yeah.
That's very good, because like I have seen that they are from so many diverse fields, and
Uh,
I also should say that I love your setup, the way you have installed a mic, and the your lighting is proper. And maybe like I will also do podcasts. I don't know. I like to try new things. How do you find it? How do you find, like, has there been any time that you have been interviewing someone and you are like, यार ये तो बोलना चुप ही नहीं करता. Don't say about me. Say about other people.
no, it happens. See, the idea behind podcast is conversation. It's
Yeah.
not an interview. I don't ask question and you don't answer. We
Yeah.
converse. That's the idea. So if someone is going
Yeah.
beyond and diverting some other topic, that's part of the conversation. That's totally fine. That's how it
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah, that's how it should be. And I feel like to be a good podcaster, you need to be a very good listener, first of all.
Yes.
Because everyone comes from a different background of life, and they're doing something. And especially I think like you have done podcasts with like people who are studying abroad, working abroad
Hmm.
also. And people like me, I have this very unique perspective, because as I said, I love to travel. So I have traveled to like very remote parts of Assam and other areas of Northeast. I have also traveled to, of course, the big cities of India like Bangalore, Mumbai, and Delhi, Kolkata. But I have also traveled to the foreign countries, say 15 or 20 foreign countries I have covered. So I got to see like the hierarchy of everything, how it is in our rural setup, how it is in the Western setup. And I believe that the people who are studying abroad or working abroad, like although you did not ask me that question, still I will say this because I have considered, like many people consider, na, ki, yeah, I'm a good student. Why should I stay in a third world
Uh,
nation? It's right. So I have considered it, and then what I came to like acknowledge is the fact that the broad story of India that's unfurling right now. The many developed countries, they have already had that phase, but
hmm,
this phase is such an interesting phase, and to be a part of it, especially from a government organization, it's like really people have to be really privileged to do that,
hmm,
right? So and when you go abroad now, your identity as an Indian, as being part of the home state, being part of this country, that is somewhere missing, and I don't know how essential or important that is, but from what I have heard, it's sometimes it becomes quite important because the difference in culture also clashes.
hmm.
I think people have seen this Mrs. Mukherjee versus Norway wala film, in which
Yes. Rani Mukherjee is
they
in that.
actually, yeah, they actually took away her children because they were not accustomed to the bindis and kajals and like feeding
Yeah.
the food with the hand, that kind of things. So the difference in culture, it's very important to visit at least once in any like Western countries, because you should know that how they are growing and how they are here. But
Hmm,
for settling, like I do not have a judgment. It's up to everybody's like personal opinion. For me, it's like in this country because it has a story to tell, and most of the stories of the Western nations are already told. They're just
hmm.
reliving the story. Yeah? So that's the thing. What was your question? Oh yeah.
No, no.
So the yeah.
Yeah.
So the corporate culture and our personal space, they often like intermingle. I see the people with like so much more salaries than me. I'll tell you, because there are people who have very less salaries than me. There will always be people who earn more than me, and there are people who earn less than
Definitely.
me. Yeah. So, but what I feel when you are truly rich is when you have some time, at least every day, no matter like if you are a single person, if you are married, but you should have at least 30 minutes. I read this somewhere that you should do three activities every day. You should do something that stimulates you intellectually, like
Hmm,
reading the news or reading a book or listening to a podcast. You should do something that is keeping you healthy, like doing some exercise, and you should do something that pays your bills. So if you're doing these three things and keeping a balance among them, then you are growing and like you are learning something every day. So that is very important. And I think that is the essential nature of your podcast also, because you interact with so many people, you get to learn so many things.
yeah. Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's quite.
Now, so when we say like we're in a world where technology is surrounding us everywhere from every angle, how do you
Yeah.
keep yourself minimum digital activity, and how do you keep yourself away from digital technologies like smartphones, tablets, and laptops? For because for my work in IT world, I stay with laptops, gadgets for more than 20 hours a day. So
Yes,
sometimes
it's true.
it becomes difficult for me or people like me to detach ourselves from digital gadgets. So as per you, what should we do so that we find some time other than digital world and do something ourselves?
Yeah. It's like I'll say this. I have been like I do not set store by material things that much. I will call myself a semi-minimalist. Like I have a lot of
Hmm.
things in my room, but over time they have accumulated because like my mom and dad brings them. I
Hmm.
rarely buy things like shoes or watches or things. So the minimalist mindset in that also comes into the digital minimalism thing, in the
Hmm.
fact that there's this book called Digital Minimalism. It's by Cal Newport, who also wrote Deep Work.
Hmm.
So Cal Newport held these experiments, and I'm sure, like many people have seen this Netflix documentary. It's called The Social Dilemma.
Hmm.
In this, it's actually showing how the smartphone, practically the digital world you are connected to is mainly through your smartphone, even more than your laptop, right? So the smartphone and the social media, what it does is it banks on your attention much more than it banks on your money. There's this proverb called if they are not selling you the product, then you are the product, right? So if Facebook is coming free for you, that means they you are the product for them. What do they want? They want your attention, they want your time. How do they get your attention? Every time you like scroll this down and like refresh the thing, you will see some new posts, and it's not like the posts are, they may be good or they may be bad. But the dopamine rush that you get from this seeing this new, from the anticipation of the new post, like what am I going to see, what am I going to see, the validation that you get from the simple likes, the notification about a like, that simple things, like, and these are leading to so much insecurity in, say, teenage girls who have like body insecurity, like because they feel like they are not getting enough likes in their photos. 80% of people they feel like, I feel like they seek their external validation from the number of likes they get from their posts. For example, like we are filming this podcast, right? We are having fun doing it. Now, it's not like if I see that suddenly your podcast in my episode has gotten like 1000 likes, I will not be happy. It's not like that. I will be happy, but I will not go back every minute or every day to see. So let me see how many likes it has gotten, because it does not matter as long as I am having fun doing it, be it my job or be it my gate preparation or be it my running, whatever it will be. So it's okay. I do not seek an external validation mostly through this life, because I don't know these people, and it's very easy to criticize someone in social media, right? Half the population is doing it, like they are being the keyboard warriors. They are told now, they are writing long paragraphs. I'm telling you, sir, that you cannot change one person's opinion by writing something in this social media post. You cannot do it with a comment or with 50 comments. People will believe what they want to believe, and you will just have to accept it. Like, I know that the word like liberal is like very slandered nowadays. Then this liver undo and stuff like that. But what does liberalism actually mean? It means that I have an opinion and you have an opinion. Your opinion may be different than me, but I will I will die so that you can express your opinion. That's what being a liberal is. Maybe I'll not die, but I will fight for it. Yeah. So being a liberal is like listening to all the opinions. It's not oppressing people's opinions. But what I feel is that social media just does that. Because once you, and the thing is that people are so rigid nowadays. Nobody is like ready to listen to a counter opinion. कि नहीं भाई तू शायद गलत है. These are the facts. No, people will give gali and they'll be like either mill, udhar mill, because it's very easy now. What is there? Like just type something out. So hiding behind the screen and doing this, it hampers our brain also. So in order to, how do you get out from all that? If you realize this smartphone is actually a superpower. It's a superpower, right? You can know anything at any moment you like. Now, what if I told you that, say there is Superman? Okay, he is Superman 24/7. He is not Clark Kent at any moment of time. Then what would happen? He would also be fatigued, right? So your superpower should use like a superpower. What I mean is, in practice, I have this Nokia phone. Okay, in the Nokia phone, I've done this very simple thing where I forward all my calls from my smartphone number that has like 2 SIM cards, one of which is the one linked to the bank, so the OTP etc. comes in that. So I have linked my, I have forwarded all my phone calls to this Nokia phone, and I carry the Nokia phone around whenever I am like going somewhere or I am in a vehicle. You know, like how many accidents occur nowadays because some stupid person is checking their phone while they are driving. I have seen people, they are scrolling Facebook while they are riding a scooter. Swiggy people, I will not blame them. They have to ride the scooter all day. They are also bored. But this practice, it's like so deplorable. I'll tell you about this TV series. It's called Black Mirror. It's available in Netflix. It shows like the dark sides of technology. So in it, there's one episode in which a guy, he loses his wife in a road accident because he was driving the car and his wife was alongside him. Somebody sent him a cat photo, puppy, like cat photo, and he started to see what it was, because that mobile does the tung thing, that notification thing that the mobile does not for anything. It may be like, maybe you have won $100 in your stock market, but always disable the notification thing if you are carrying your smartphone around with you. And don't keep your smartphone in your pocket. Maybe you carry a bag, keep your smartphone inside the bag, because you know we check our smartphone like more than 200 times a day. And I'm sure nobody like needs to check it so many times. Like you are doing a job, right? So we don't need to do it because of our job. Some people will say that, okay, I am, say I am an influencer, or I am someone who is a social media marketer. So my whole job is my phone. But you can do all of that in your laptop also. And you consider that part of your work. Your life, in fact, your life wala Facebook account should be separate from your work wala Facebook account. If you are someone who works like in these digital markets, so that they don't get mixed up, right? So it's very necessary that you treat, like when you are lost in a road and you want to use the Google Maps. Of course, you want the smartphone. I am not Amish, or I'm not some like Luthians who will think that okay, every smartphone is bad. Just throw away your smartphone. No, you keep your smartphone in the drawer of your office where it is not in your person. It should not be with you like so much that you can check it out in any time you want. This idea I got from this book. It's called Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. I'm sure many people have seen it. It's the most visible book in the airport,
Airports, bookshelves.
yeah, the airport's bookshelves. So in it, he says that any habit that you want to grow, you make your environment such that it supports your habit. For example, like say you want to study tomorrow. So what you do is before sleeping today, you arrange your table properly, nicely, so that it is organized when you get up. Right? So what happens then? If your table is cluttered, if you get up in the next morning, you will not want to study. You'll be like, "Arey yaar, abhi fir isko theek karna padega." In the same way, the habit that you want to lose, you make it inconvenient. So you make it inconvenient to like order food. So many people order food from Swiggy nowadays. And you know, it's like such a drain on money because at a time it's looking like it's 500, 1000 rupees. But when you accumulate it over a year, nah, it's thousands of rupees.
Right.
How do you stop it? You uninstall the app. You uninstall the app because whenever you really need the food now, you will install the app and you'll just order the food. But that minor inconvenience that will let you like classify, that will let you think one more time, do I really need to do this? Because once the app is available in your phone, and mostly it's available on your home screen, right? You don't even need to scroll through the other apps to go to the S so that you can go to Swiggy. It's available right there. So you keep your home screen clear and only fill it up with the apps that you need. The app, I am not, I myself use many apps for my benefit, and I feel like they have immensely eased up my life. They have increased my productivity. They have relieved my tension, and they have made me more efficient. But these apps I keep in my, like, say, calendar, Google Calendar. Google Calendar is such a simple app that almost I don't know anybody who uses it. Most people don't use it. Google Calendar is so important because you can schedule things on the go and you do not have to keep anything in your brain. Say, be it your family commitments or like say a podcast that you have scheduled. It happens that it escapes your mind. Do not keep anything in your mind. There's this book, it's called Getting Things Done, GTD. GTD is the holy grail of productivity. Okay, it's by David Allen. In that, he says this sentence, it's called, our brain is for creating ideas. It's not for holding ideas. So our brain is not there for remembering stuff. Like मैंने वो कागज कहाँ रखा, वो फाइल किधर रख दिया, वो मेल जो आया था वो किधर है? No. So how do you do it? You create this thing. It's a byproduct of GTD. It's called a second brain. The second brain is formulated by Tiago Forte. And I know the name is like very fancy, but it's simple. It's like you note down things, you write, and you get an app that is a notes app. I'm sure everybody has a notes app in their phone, like Evernote or like Google Keep. They're such simple notes apps that you have with you all the time. Anything, any task or any resource that you have, any document you might have gotten, and I'll tell this also, any hard copy that you get in your desk or in your personal life also, scan it. It's so easy to scan things. And now there is OCR, right? So you can find it at a moment's notice, right? So most people do it. It's not like we do not capture things. You like a news article, you will bookmark it, but you will never find it later. Why? Because we just do the first part of this. Now there's this process called code. Code means CODE, like capture, organize, distill, and express. So we are stuck in the capture mode. We have hundred articles. How many videos do you have in watch later of YouTube? I have like 300. Do I ever watch it later? No, because there are always new videos to watch. So like even if you are watching YouTube, plan it. It should be fruitful use of your time, because if you don't plan it, they will plan it for you. They will suggest videos that you did not think that you would need to watch it. Why do you need to watch baby fails video at 1 in the morning? You don't need to watch it, but they will make you watch it. It is fun. So even like there's this download feature, get the YouTube premium. It's like 130 rupees per month. It's very cheap. So you can any YouTube video, you can minimize the YouTube and listen to it like a podcast. You can have YouTube music also. It's like almost the same as Spotify and stuff. So like when you do it, download the episodes, right? Nobody downloads things anymore. You remember in our college, we had these hard disks. There was so much demand for hard disks. Yeah, they're like TV series है तेरे पास, हाँ मेरे पास 30 TV series है.
Arey yaar, you are rich. I know people, like they are my friends. I also did it. They spent the whole night in NIT Agartala because they had to download episodes from the college Wi-Fi in
Yes.
torrent. How many episodes do you think they actually watched? Like I, I have seen people, they are watching that progress bar the whole day.
Ah.
It's like downloading 4%, 85%. I asked someone, why are you not watching the things that you have already downloaded? Meanwhile, but no, that's the rush. That's the small kind of dopamine I'm talking about that you
Yes.
get. That okay, I have it downloaded. अब मैं ये देखूं ना देखूं उसे घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ता मैं next वाला download करता हूँ. So that has like the download thing has converted into streaming now, right?
Yeah.
So when you stream, it's like the endless feed. The feed never ends. You will
Mhm.
never find like this is the end of your feed. You are done. Go home now. No, they will like if you are doing it for 24 hours, they will make sure that you are staying for the next 1 hour also. It hampers your sleep, it hampers your health, it hampers your relationships. It
Hmm.
like mobile phone has hampered so many relationships. There is obviously like adultery and stuff which has increased, and I feel like social media is partly involved. But there is also lack of connection. Na, how many people that you see who actually when you go to a restaurant, there are couples. How many couples you see that are actually talking to each other? They are on their phones, man. How many families that you see they are talking, keeping away their phones? No, everybody is busy in their phone. Even the mummy papa also. My mom and
Yes.
dad, they do WhatsApp like crazy. Like till 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, they are sending me forwarded like videos and links. So it's not that it's just the young generation, but we are the most affected by it. And like it hampers our attention span so much. It's
Hmm.
like a drain on our brain. It's harmful for our eyes, it's harmful for our overall being. I've said this because I have been an addict for a long time, and then I realized it, I changed it, and it's like nil batta sannata. Like there's nothing, no notifications, no pings, no calls, unnecessary calls, and there is no WhatsApp's popping up anytime, right? So what happens then? Initially you get bored,
Hmm.
but I have this philosophy that only when you get bored is that you get better. Even while I was prepared for gate, I started preparation because I was bored. I was in hostel, so the net nahi hai utna, and kitna hi tum doston ke sath jaake unke ghar mein, like up to 2 in the morning you will do the gappe shappe. After
Ah.
that you will return. Yeah. After that,
Yeah.
so right. So like, do you agree, or there are some points that you would like to say that no, it cannot be like this?
No, same. I follow this, but I am not able to overcome yet. Android 13 version has brought a new feature. You will be able to mute all notifications on your phone on all apps. Okay,
Should
unless
be
you
there.
open the app, you will not know whether notifications are there or not. After
Should be
this,
there.
I have become addicted now. I open the apps and see if there are notifications or not. So I have
Yeah,
to overcome
that
that
is
now.
that minor inconvenience that I was talking about that you put into yourself, that we eventually overcome that also. It's been the case with me also. I thought that okay, I'll not be in Facebook, so I removed the app. Now I go to Google Chrome and now open I open the
Yeah.
Facebook. So somehow or other the brain will figure it out. So what you have to do is you have to stay physically away from the phone. This is very important. Don't take your phone to your bed. Like I'm saying, not just to you, like everyone. It's
Yes.
very harmful for you because what do you do the first thing when you get up? You check the phone. And what is there to check? Like if you are a single person, you won't have even a good morning, right?
Now
So
that FOMO is more like fear of missing out. That like while I was
yes,
sleeping, did I miss
and
any notification?
like I got a counter of this FOMO. It's also from a book. I forgot the book. It's called JOMO. It's called Joy of Missing Out. Yeah, you
Ah,
miss out on the stuff that are not good for you. It's the joy. Yeah, I'm missing out on this stupid shitty stuff. I have not seen anybody who has done like 1 hour of Facebook and he's like, wow, I am so satisfied. I'm so happy right now. Everybody is anxious. अरे यार ये देख मालदीव चला गया, ये तो फिलीपींस घूमने चला गया, ये कहाँ इसको इतना छुट्टी कैसे मिलता है, इसके पास इतने पैसे कहाँ है, ये गाड़ी खरीद लिया, ये घर खरीद लिया,
yes.
कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा है यार. So it's this intense sense of dissatisfaction that we put onto ourselves. You don't need to do it. Don't take your phone, right? Like it's not very. I'll ask you this because you are in this field. Like as someone who works in IT, how much do you think like we actually need to do it because of our job? Can we like after our office hours, after 6 p.m.? I'm not saying you like switch off your phone, but can you
Mhm.
put it away from yourself, like in a table or something? Can we do
Yeah,
that? And
definitely.
if you are not being able to do it, yeah, tell me.
Definitely, it can be put away. But in India, no, in India, IT system, it's like it doesn't. Your office doesn't end at 6:30.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That is a very toxic work culture that we do, that we live in. And in relation to this, I also have this, like, I know I am like a sarkari naukri guy who is like very traditional and works in old offices. Although the situation is not like this now. Like we are also coming up with getting trained in AI, and we have our own data backups that are like the very advanced, if I may say so myself. But the overall outlook is kind of like that. And I will say this myself also, because I got into the field because there is no race for growth. It's like if you want, you can grow. Nobody will stop you. In fact, the company encourages. I am currently doing a course on artificial intelligence from IIIT Bangalore. It's a PGDM course that is sponsored by my company. So they will encourage growth always. But it's not like if you don't grow, then we will throw you out. No, you can stay where you are for some time. So have some time for yourself, and then you can grow again maybe. But you can have some breather. So people need sometimes breather. Now there's no Saturdays and Sundays also, I'm guessing, in a IT industry, right? Like since
No.
you are available now, since you are in the grid all the time, since you are reachable, that's why I say you should not be reachable 24 hours. It should be like phone aaya to I have the independence of disconnecting the phone. I have the independence of rejecting the call, even if it's my boss. एक बार दो बार करके देखो, it will be like the boss's expectation will also reduce. You call him up within 15 minutes. क्या है यार इतना जल्दी? Let's take a breather. Like थोड़ा शांत हो जाओ. इतना जल्दी क्या है?
Just take
कहाँ
a
जा रहे हो
chill
आप लोग?
pill.
Yeah, take a chill pill. Like peace is so important. Like I have seen so much in my life. I'm 30 now, so I've seen like success, I've seen failures, happiness, sadness, then this traveling kind of मतलब fever. There is fever among some people. हाँ, तुम travel कर लो. कुछ भी हो गया तो बोरिया बिस्तर लेकर तुम घूमी घूमी निकल जाओ. स्टैंड अप कॉमेडी also about that. क्या कुछ भी प्रॉब्लम हुआ तुम घूम के आ जाओ. अरे भाई घूम के तो तुझे इस जॉब पे आना है, इसी घर में तो आना है. So it should not be an escape. It should be like I look forward to travel, but I also look forward to getting back in my job. So what were we saying?
Fine, we have we have traveled digital minimalism in all broad spectrum. Okay.
Yes. So digital minimalism is essentially that. Keep away from your smartphones for at least start from 1 hour. Make
Yes.
it 2 hours, 3 hours. You will see the difference. You will be like, I'm more productive and I am more concerned about myself. I'm eating more healthy foods. It actually happens. I've seen it happen. I'll say this because like the time when I left college and the time I'm now, most of my friends and peers, I've seen that they have gained weight and like they are not in their best shape as they were in college. So this is partly like responsible for this. You can always take a membership out of gym and go to gym without your smartphone. You can always get, we had this iPod kind of things in
Only
which
music.
there were only music. Yeah.
Yes.
So you can use this in your. Why do you need to take a phone? You don't need that. No? You can get the smart watch for your counting steps if you want it. I'm not against technology. I'm just against like using this superpower for very menial causes. That is really harmful.
Okay. Thank you for watching this entire podcast. This podcast actually is of 2 hours length, but for the sake of viewers' attention and keeping up with the time, we have divided this entire podcast into 2 episodes. This is being the first episode. Second episode is of around 35 minutes. It will come in next week, and hope you will like that episode as well. That is also full of information and knowledge, and we try to pick Rajarshi's brain. Thank you.